Yo, good morning, world. Name's Raheem Flowers. It's been a minute since I spoke about an issue with the dynamics between the relationship with blacks, but I think it's a good time to speak on it. My homie and I, we were speaking about the whole family structures and how women have become more masculine and their femininity has reduced. And ironically, I think a lot of that is just based upon the whole I don't need a man and I'm a strong, independent black woman. You know, that bullshit ass mantra. And he he came up actually with the elixir, the cure, and the solution. And that is in order for a woman to become more womanly, so to speak, it would require her to be raised by a man. Now, my homie stated that thesis. Now, allow me to expound on it. I see where he's coming from because you have to understand this. A woman can't really feel secure about herself and just any form of reassurance until she has the validity of a man. But question is, how can these black women have that validity when there's not a black man in the home? Not even fond of the brother, but even Dr. Umar Johnson brought up a very great point when he was on the Breakfast Club and he was speaking about the whole family structure between the mother and the father, and he was saying this.
So here's the
right
thing.
here.
Mothers traditionally, by socialization, provide the nurture and the love. Fathers traditionally, by socialization, provide the structure and the discipline.
Wait till your father gets home. That's what I used to
Honestly,
say.
this is what I gotta say. We as men, we're the ones who set the bar. We raise the standards of how a woman should be like, and we're the ones who give them whatever image that we believe should be a part of society and who they should procreate with, and the determination of what an alpha male is to them. Which, if we look back on the old 70s films with the whole blaxploitation, whether it be Superfly or Dolomite, and even interestingly enough, Django, like when we look at these men, these are the men who are represented as alpha males, the ones who seem like they're the assertive badasses that the women go after. And throughout those blaxploitation films, it was a lot of gangster-like themes, you know, guns, drugs, and pimping and whatnot. And that mindset is what bred these thugs, as we like to call them. And when we ask, why do these women like all these thug niggas? Well, we're the ones who set the bars. So now the stand-up dudes tend to get overlooked because this is what the message that we sold these women. And I ain't speaking on no simp shit, not by a damn long shot. However, we do have to take accountability as men. And both men and women, we've forgotten to take that accountability because we were raised by women who thought they were strong and independent and didn't need a man, who pretty much had their own distorted version of basically hood feminism. Ain't no other way to say it. Fuck it. So now you have a dysfunctional community, you got dysfunctional families, you have people who are making emotional decisions rather than more critical and practical decisions. Black men, we don't need to sell these black women this hood ass Cinderella, Princess and the Frog story. Nah, we just need to remember our role in society. This is, I'm sure, one of the main reasons why a lot of black men are becoming effeminate. And this is why all these women are becoming dykes and studs, because black men, the majority of us, are no longer men. being raised by women, having the whole homosexual lifestyle being embedded in society. So now, these women have no one to go to. When you look at old school shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you think of Hurley, Ashley, and you look at Uncle Phil, and you notice that for the most part, they know how to carry themselves a certain way. When you were thinking about Everybody Hates Chris, and you were looking at Tanya and the relationship she had with Julius, you noticed that she knew how to carry herself in a certain way. Yeah, they lived in the ghetto. Yeah, they lived in the hood of Brooklyn, New York, but still, there was still femininity there, and there was still respect, love, and value for a man and his presence. Even statistics show, as this one I'm about to point out to you all, this is what it means when a man is in her daughter's life. Honestly, we just need to, if it means procreating with boring, dull, nerdy, women, or even more conservative like women or whatever, if that's what we have to do, then fine. We just need to start procreating more strategically. I mean, just like I said, we're the ones who set the standards of what a mate should be like. Us as men. And if we set those positive examples and we instill that in our daughters, then all they'll see is, well, I don't want no young thug. I don't want no man like that. I don't want none of these little Reese. They're not gonna want that because they've seen an example of what it means to be a man. Even if you weren't raised by your father, you can still try to bring those women in the premises of males so they can understand what it means to be in a relationship with a man. I mean, that's why a lot of men these days are so concerned about how they dress, because they're raised by women, and women typically are more concerned of how they carry themselves. And that's why a lot of men do the same thing when they talk about swag, when they talk about yo shit on fleek. That's what they mean. Carrying themselves a certain way. And we do need that aspect from a woman, us as men. But even though a man can't teach a woman how to be a woman, a man can teach a woman how to love a man. And that's what it trickles down to. This is what we need to teach our future daughters, or just daughters if you have any black men. Because if we want to eliminate the Naquandas, the Shanikas of the world, if we want them to be curtailed, this is what we must do. If we don't want to deal with these hood rat bitches who go around procreating with these thugs, we need to revise the standards. Because as of right now, it's the women who are ultimately creating the standards, because the dynamic between men and women aren't there. The reason why there's so much wedlock is because there is no compatibility. It's just niggas and bitches fucking each other all night long. Nobody's trying to get to know each other on a spiritual, intimate level. The only way you get to know each other on a spiritual, intimate level is by exchanging knowledge and ideas. So we just need to expose our daughters and just women in general more to what we want. We need to be more assertive and let them know it's definitely not your natural hair that we have a gripe/opposition to, black women. Bitch ass attitude we have a problem with. That's our main gripe. That's what it means. So, black men and just men across the globe, That's what I advise you to do if you're in these predicaments. Just be in your daughter's life, set a positive example, and just give them the freedom of choice to know, well, this is the type of man you saw. So if you choose this man and then you go this route and you live an unhappy life, that's on you. So if you go by that reverse psychology, they'll be like, oh, I don't want that type of man. I want a man similar to my daddy. I don't want a man who's gonna slap me up. I don't want a man who's gonna put a gun up to my head if I do something he don't like. No, you don't want that. And I'm sure your daughter would not want that. So that's all you need to do. Any woman who has a father in her life knows to have respect for herself and have respect for a man. That's how they develop that reassurance. I've even had a mentor of mine who was a great woman, though we're not talking at the moment. She had a father in her life, and she had much respect for a man, and she was very effeminate. Women are losing this femininity because they want to go by this stereotypically feminazi mantra of not needing a man and just trying to have a matriarchy implemented in the black society. That's all we need to do. We need to eliminate that shit. And just let your daughters know that they're worth. And let them know what they mean. Let your daughters know what they mean to you and what they can mean to another man. Ain't nothing else to it but to do it. Peace out.